Okay, Steve here for Flies and Pies again. I'm going to tie you one of my originals. We call it the Pimp Slap. What I've got here in the vise is a ginormous, massive amount of 5/0 offset bend worm hook. The bass fishing worm hook. Got some 280 denier ultra thread. Take my thread. I'm going to start it back here just a little bit behind that bend here. Lay myself down a good base. The way I tie this fly, it'll actually end up running hook point up, which is awesome when you can tie any fly that runs hook point up, then you can skip it off of weeds and stuff. Got some .20 lead-free wire here. Just going to lay down a good hunk of lead-free wire. This will make this hook flip over and run, just like I said, hook point up. Pop that off, pop that off. Come back over it a couple of times this way. Over it a couple of times this way. We're going to cover it up with a whole bunch of material here in a second, so I'm not too worried about it. Whip out some Congo hair. You guys will hear me tie a lot with Congo hair, water silk, and the like, because I like the guys at Fly Tires Dungeon. I think they're good folks. So if you don't know them, flytiresdungeon.com. Good people, good materials, cheap price. That's the best part, cheap price. Fan this stuff back. Oopsie, tied it down there. Fan it back a little bit. Get it all going backwards. Get me another little hank here of some white Congo hair. Lay it down. Fan it back. Got all tangled up on that eye there. I like a nice big fat long tail. As you can see, this is going to be a very big fly. This particular fly is going to end up in Canada here in a couple of days to try and catch some pike on a trophy lake. Okay, now one of my favorite things to do when I tie flies is dubbing loops, and this fly is mostly dubbing loop. But before I throw a dubbing loop in there, I'm going to throw some flash on top of this bad mammer jammer. Because it's going to run hook point up, I'm going to flip it over with the hook point going up in the vise so that I can more easily tie this stuff on the underside of this hook shank. I don't worry about excess and stuff, I just worry about getting the length right. I'm going to trim off excess. I can't add on to get the length right. Excess off here, and again we're going to cover this up with so much stuff. This is a little bit of yellow flash here. This one's going to end up white and orange, but I tie them in all kinds of different colors: white and red, white and orange, pink and purple, black and yellow. You know, pretty much just pick a color and put two of them that look good together. Here's my great big first dubbing loop here. Tie this sucker down, 2 runs around that. Tighten up that vise before I go much further. This thing's going to fight me. There we go. Okay, open up my dubbing loop nice and big here. Hook my dubbing loop twister in it. Now I'm going to take this Congo hair and cut it off about 1.5 inches long. I'm going to cut off a whole bunch of pieces. I'm going to do it where you can't see me because I do it on my lap. Because I'll pick it all up at the exact same time and put it all in a dubbing loop. And it takes quite a good bit. I've got 2 pieces here that are about the diameter of a pencil when you compress them. Full length of the shank. And I'm going to use pretty much all of it. Okay? So there's one set. This is for the head portion. As you see, I got it all in my hand at one time. I lay it down into my thread with my dubbing loop. Spread it out a little bit, but I like this stuff to be pretty dense. I'm going to actually add a little bit more to it yet, because I don't think I got quite enough. See, that's why I try and put it all in at the exact same time. Because when you don't, it falls. It's not a big deal though. We can fix that. Okay. Now there's a trick to this. You see right here at the bottom of the dubbing loop, I put my fingers in there and pinch it. And then all this excess that's down here, I'll twist that. I won't let this stuff up here twist just yet. When you twist it like that and you let all this stuff twist at the same time, what happens is it gets horribly tangled. And you got to spend a whole bunch of time brushing and picking it out and blah 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 blah, and that's a pain in the butt. Pull, tension, let go, zoom. Pick all the crappy out of it that got sucked into it when it spun. Not quite twisted enough, so we'll twist it just a little bit more. There we go. Take our whip finisher hook and just kind of fluff that stuff out a little bit there, so it looks a little more fluffy, like a giant rabbit strip on crack. Having a bad hair day, something to that effect. Okay, now we'll take our dubbing loop and brush it back as we go. Pack it nice and tight. What that'll do is it'll make everything stand up on end, and it'll give you a nice big bulky head. Look real pretty when it's all said and done. Almost got it. Push it back just a little bit more. Just about run out of my white here. I know it doesn't look like it's big and bulky and fluffy right now, but give me a second and I'll get there. Got to tie this portion down. The reason why I made my dubbing loop about twice as long as I needed it to be was so that I could do exactly what I'm about to do here, which is actually just what's left over, the excess dubbing loop here. I'm just going to unwind it, open it back up, and I'm going to add my head color into it, because I'll add this cool looking little head into it. Look really neat. Just a little couple turns too far. There we go. Now I'm going to use this hot orange water silk, and again I'm going to need quite a big fat burly hank here. I don't cut this stuff quite as long, only about an inch and a quarter, because I'll trim this down to a nice cone shape. Get a very neat, clean look on it. But again, I do it in my lap because then I can pick it all up at the exact same time. Maybe. There we go. There we go. Got it all. Get my dubbing loop back open here. Turd. There we go. Alright, now this stuff I don't spread it out as much. I just kind of even it out a little bit. Move it around some. I don't get too carried away with making this stuff look just right. I kind of try and keep it bulked up because I want this head to be dense. Give it a couple twists to hold everything in there, and then just as before, pinch that thread, twist the piece knot out of the excess, then put tension on it and let it go. And you see how nice, just a beautiful little brush right here. That's the one fun thing about using this water silk in a dubbing brush or dubbing loop, is it is very soft and supple, and it has beautiful sheen and all that stuff. But man, it looks cool, and it's easy to work with. So easy to work with. Sheds water, so it's easy to cast. And this is a giant fly, so if it didn't shed water, it'd be like casting a wet shoe. So, there we go. Got that part wrapped on there. I'm going to just give a couple of twists around here with my bobbin. Hold on to my dubbing loop. Pull this stuff out of the way. Tie it down. Build a little head here at the end. Make sure I get it all tied down and out of the way. Clip off my dubbing loop. Grab my whip finisher. Good whip finish. Pull it tight. Clip off my thread. hit that with a tiny drop of super glue, because like I say, this fly is headed to Canada for some pike, so I want to make sure these heads will hold up to the abios. A little bit of super glue will definitely help that. Now I go back to my whip finisher and just pick. Woo! You can use a like an underfur comb or something like that, and they work, but the problem is sometimes they want to try and grab and pull this stuff out. I like just using the whip finisher because it will pull stuff out, but it's not bad about it. And then I just go backwards again, comb it all backwards so that I can get it going the direction that I want it. Okay, take my scissors, trim everything at an angle, just like this, all the way around. That'll give me that kind of a cone-shaped head. I go in here to the sides and I trim them a little bit flat because I'm going to put a great big giant eye on the side of this bad boy. It's a 15 millimeter googly doll eye. It looks cool. It looks ridiculous, which is what makes it look cool. You gotta be careful doing that I just did, because if you heard that, that was my finger brushing across the point of that hook. And if you watch all of my videos, you'll see that I get stabbed occasionally. That's always good times. Okay, that just looks a little unruly, so I trim that off, trim that off. That's a personal thing, probably not necessary, but it bothers me. I'm anal retentive. Again, big googly doll eyes. Okay, 15 millis. A little bit of super glue. Take the doll eye, take the super glue, whoops, throw the doll eye across the table, grab the other doll eye, put a drop or two on the back side of that doll eye, drip, 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 and set it down right on the side of that bad boy. Try not to glue yourself to it. Right there. Okay? Pick up the one you threw across the table. Drip, drip. Same thing. Set it down. Okay? Squeeze them together for a second. Let them go. Hope you don't have any on you, because if you do, you'll stick to them and pull them off. And there you go. This is a Pimp Slap. Great big, fuzzy, fluffy, googly, rattly, I don't know if you can hear it, big, meaty fly. Real quick and easy to tie though. I hope you guys enjoy that one.